let's see if I can remember this. See how much of it I can remember. Have you ever been to Kentucky Lake? What about Barkley Lake? Have you ever been to the land between them? Have you ever maybe thought about why there's a random island in the middle of two lakes? Well, it's not an island. It's a peninsula, and you're wrong. But why is it there? I'm gonna tell you. So, of course, the Great Depression happened. It sucked, and a lot of people lost their jobs. So the government did what the government does, and they created a three-letter acronym, the Tennessee Valley Authority. The purpose of the Tennessee Valley Authority was to create multiple dams and hydrolocks throughout the Tennessee Valley Basin in order to provide electricity for the surrounding area and to provide jobs to multiple people. Over three, probably. So, one of the closest projects that they did was they created the Kentucky Dam. This dam, as you can see somewhere on here, blocked the Tennessee River, I know the names, and created Kentucky Lake. Now, the purpose of this was, of course, to generate electricity for the surrounding area, but also generate electricity to help make aluminum for the war effort, as this dam was completed in the year 1944. Now, right up next to what is now Kentucky Lake was another river, the Cumberland River. And with the close proximity, right about 2 miles, they decided, well, we should just connect them. So, they dammed up the river and they created Lake Barkley. But there is another issue. Well, they hadn't connected them. So, they decided to dig a canal right up through here. It's called the Barkley Canal. It connects Lake Barkley and Kentucky Lake. That way, at all times, these lakes are at the same level. Now, of course, the government did this because it helps the economy. That way, there is no sort of locks or anything that barges and boats have to travel through to get products from north to south. Now, what they did was probably a great thing. They created national lands, public lands. It's good for the people, but not for the people that were there. So, about the time that this area was being created, there was right about 800 families within this area, but there's not any more. The Tennessee Valley Authority used their powers of eminent domain to remove approximately 800 families from their homes, and in the process of this, they flooded their homes and also flooded a small town. Now, as you could imagine, this upset a few people, as there was a man that came to their door, gave them money, and told them to leave. And I don't think they liked that. But the Tennessee Valley Authority saw this as a pretty good thing. They were lifting them out of their rural slums and letting them move to the city, giving them an opportunity to do better in their lives. But this wasn't an opportunity to do better. This was the government kicking them out of their homes, taking them away from their multi-generational farms, and telling them to kick rocks pretty much. However, they were told this was all in good faith. What you're doing is great. You're giving up what is yours for the better of people. You're creating a public land. You're creating what was intended to be a national nature recreation hub. I mean, this place was expected to host approximately 10 million people every single year. This would be one of the biggest national parks in the United States. But that never really happened. To this date, today, the most visitors that this area has seen in 1 year is just about 1 million, which is a little bit below the projected numbers. So, as you might imagine, the families that were evicted, and of course the family of those families who would have inherited those farms, are quite upset about this. They had to sacrifice their livelihood, their homes, and everything that they knew for a piece of land that the government didn't really do a whole lot with. Now, of course, there is campgrounds, trails, a couple educational things if you really insist on it, but you gotta ask yourself, was the sacrifice that these people made really worth it? Show yourself. I didn't show you at the start.
I've been here the whole time. And trying not to cough.